All right, and now the conversation begins on rating Kenyan content, and that's what we asked you earlier on. How do you rate Kenyan art content? It could be the music scene, it could be the movie scene. Good, bad, why? We'd like to know. 22422 is the SMS line at Citizen TV Kenya. Trevor Mbija, use the hashtag Daybreak. We'll sample some of your views during this broadcast, and that's exactly where we start, Tosh. You've been in this industry for a while. How do you rate it? Do you think that the newbies who are coming in are sort of watering down the foundation that you guys made, or is it just all good?
Foundation, even us, we didn't set the foundation, we came into it.
Yeah.
What's the question? What do I feel about where the industry is?
Yeah.
I'll say this, and I'll keep saying it over and over. The problem we're facing as an industry is we've always never been taken seriously. The arts, whether it's music, whether it's film, whether it's drawing, painting, whatever, has always been seen as a hobby. We've come from a history of the serious professions are engineering and doctors and lawyers and so forth, which is disheartening because I don't think you go to a doctor every day, but you do consume entertainment on a daily basis. I like making that statement. I know it's...
When you say not taken seriously, what do you mean? Not enough investment?
Yeah, I mean, if you said you wanted to be a musician to your parents, what happened? You had to stop joking.
So that is the family support that is not there.
Which comes from generation to generation.
Yeah.
You know, even today, now we're starting to have a huge influx of kids going to do what they want to do. Music producers going to university for it, you know. I mean, if it wasn't a serious profession, why would there be universities? Yeah. Why is Hollywood one of the biggest businesses in the world? So yeah, in that aspect, you know, you find that if we relooked at this whole thing of education, you'll find even some of the issues we have, like poverty, would be eradicated, you know, unemployment would be eradicated. You find that there's a kid from, once they're 3 years old, you can tell this is going to be a singer. Why not harness that, you know, and start making people appreciate and buying from along, you know, from far off.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the biggest problems, because once we start taking I call it the creative business. We don't even have a ministry. Film, I think we kept, Mara we're at ICT, Mara we're at the culture. We still don't have a film policy, you know. The music industry is always up in arms. I just keep seeing, you know, money is collected but doesn't get to, you know, like the moment that we take it seriously, and I keep saying, please, give us a ministry for the creative business. Put us, all of us there, music, film, art, painters. Let us deal with our problems from there, you know. Then we'll be an entity to be taken seriously that contributes to the national cake. All
right. Vivian, what do you think? Because there are instances, and Tosh is making a point that the industry is not being taken seriously, but there are also some instances that we've seen the same players in the industry glorify obscene situations and also have some content that does not relate to people very well. So is it that we are the ones who are glorifying the negative and not looking at the positive, or are we simply just burying our heads in the sand, that whatever these artists are singing about, they're things that actually happen right now, so to speak?
Right. So, no, this issue of content, there is too much content actually, and the music content, you know, just divides across. There's of course the content, you know, you consume what you want. Even when you're going to the supermarket, there's an array of products, so you pick what suits you, right? So in that same space, the only we don't only have obscene content. We have, you know, we have good content. We have a lot of beautiful music that comes from this country, right? But you know, we are still in a space, I feel, a lot of creatives, their number one motive, firstly, is acceptance and appreciation, right? Because, and that's why you find people doing things that are a little bit odd, you know, selling themselves short. Because you want people to accept. Because once people accept and appreciate, then everything else goes up, right? And I feel like those are some of the biggest challenges we have in our music space.
Isn't that in itself a problem when you have to do certain things because you think people will appreciate that more than what you're doing? So then it means you step out of the moral ground which you had yourself to do things that you believe people accept.
No, I think even in terms of what you receive, maybe in regards to what you're supposed to get paid versus what you actually get paid, you know, things like that. Because now that is it's an appreciation issue. Because you're like, if I don't do this, then I won't be seen at all. So let me just do it, right? So that kind of quotient really changes everything. And just generally understanding that, you know, it's not about what we are showing off to the public, but how we are functioning behind closed curtains as an industry. And it's the same thing I think that Tosh is talking about. Like, if we're in a space where as creatives we are able to sasa tuko hapa, whether it's a board, whether you know, people, because there are people, we are not lacking intelligence or, you know, up here, the creatives we have in this country are brilliant. But some of the dire things that we are actually lacking is quorum to actually sort our own issues ourselves. And we miss the point. I think as artists, a little bit, we miss the point. Because you want to go somewhere and show we are together. But really, behind the curtains, as an industry, how are we functioning? How often do I talk to Musyoka? How often do I talk to Olidiv? Are we actually channeling out our problems behind the curtains and dealing with them? Because also we have an issue whereby in this industry, it's really funny. People are so used to lying about everything. And you know, when you're constantly lying about things, you'll never get to the truth. Because you'll be solving lies. You can't solve lies. You can only solve actual issues that exist. In such a space whereby I'm able to call Musyoka as an artist and say, because this is behind, this is our bedroom, right? And say, by the way, Musyoka, I have this issue in terms of creating content. Can we work together? Can we do this? Can you come? But if I'm living a lie, you know, and maybe he's not living a lie, but maybe if he's living a lie, you know, then we are not able to actually move forward in any sense. So I think those are some of the things we really need to look inwards rather than what we are showing to the public. The public, they see right through it sometimes.
So unity of purpose is lacking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, you've been in this industry for a while. Do you think we're doing well?
Of course, of course. Otherwise, I'd be a farmer. You cannot exist in an ecosystem that you don't believe in. And as an industry insider, I know the ins and the outs of what the industry has to offer. And generally speaking, having been in it for a while, I've seen the changes. I mean, like, if you'd have told me 20 years ago that I could make a career out of music, yes, I had the hope and the belief that it's possible. But right now, I know it's possible. You know, it's not an issue of, let's see how it works. Some things have been put in place, some structures exist that didn't exist in those days. And also, just like any growing industry, we are young. We are relatively young. I mean, you don't expect a 6-year-old to think like a 30-year-old. So sometimes comparing us with nations that are way ahead of us, that have also had these issues that we have, but at a very early stage, that when the Americans and the British were solving copyright issues, my grandfather was still wearing skin. You know, so it's so you have to look at the time perspective of where we've come and where we are heading. Of course, because of advancement in technology and resources and information, we can leapfrog a bit faster. But it's like trying to drown a small kid with so much content. You need to take them slow by slow. And they are bound to make mistakes. They are bound to learn from those mistakes. And we've gotten to a point whereby guys now understand actually there is money in the industry. I mean, I can make a business out of it. The telcos are minting money from ringback tones. There are guys minting money from streaming services, a concept that would not have existed. So also as technology advances and information is readily available, a lot of guys are beginning to understand actually there is content that we can manage and monetize and make money off. There are guys living very wealthy, guys behind the scenes. So for me, my biggest bone of contention is not even the content. We are dynamic. Kenya is a very dynamic country. We are very vibrant. We have so much to offer. Our biggest challenge is just managing this content.
And that is the main concern there, because we've seen what pushes an artist to put out obscene material. This is the one thing that has always sparked a lot of controversy. Why do we have to go that way?
I mean, it's...
Is that what the people demand? Is that what sells? Why do
okay, you see,
obscene... KFCB ban some of them. I don't want
it's
to know
okay, I mean, it's...
particulars.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate. If I'm an atheist, what Lambalolo are talking about, I really don't care. But guided by Christian principles, there are things that we would consider obscene. So as a Christian society, yes, it's obscene. It's morally questionable, but it's also very popular. For me, my take on it, my personal take on it, and I mean, it's personal, from experience and from judgment, in quotes, is as adults and as gatekeepers and as leaders, we preach water and drink wine. And these kids are observing. These kids are observing. Kids assimilate a lot of information by watching. As an adult, your mind is busy occupied by mortgages, financial constraints. This child is just learning. Number one, the church has failed the youth. 2, politicians have failed them completely. 3, families have failed them. So who do they turn to? No one. They have nobody to guide them and tell them this is wrong. So for them, you can do this in darkness because you're an adult. Nobody's going to supervise you or going to make noise at you.
So moral compass and guidance is not there.
Zero. The people they are looking up to are busy doing things. We teach these children's theory, but we don't practice what we are teaching them.
Okay. Let me hear what Dave has to say about this.
The bad thing about coming last is everything has been said.
No, but you talk about the issue of influence. Are we abandoning artists with this issue of being role models? Should that even be their role? Because that's the main thing that always comes out first.
Let me just reiterate what almost everyone said. First of all, what Vivian said. This is a supermarket and it has shelves, and these shelves have many products. And then we're highlighting 1 or 2 products. Yet there's a wide range. This artist will sing nice stuff, good content, good, because good is relative again. And then after being frustrated, after like 5 years, they'll switch. It's the same artists who are singing these things that we're deeming obscene. Most of them started as gospel artists or even secular artists doing quite positive music. But then we're highlighting this, so what do you expect? That's what's in the papers that we're reading. That's what's being highlighted. Everyone is highlighting. So, I mean, there's a big shelf, big supermarkets, a lot of products. So it's our work as a media, to highlight these other products on the shelf. I also reiterate what Tosh said. The issue, I think we need to be able to see that arts is an industry just like any other. As you mentioned, in the US, the entertainment industry or sector is one of the top 3 industries, with Hollywood and all that. Over here, we see it as just something else, something inafanywa na wala watu wameshindwa na masomo. I'd like to correct that. Can I look at the camera? To parents out there, church leaders and stakeholders in society, the arts and music and entertainment is not for watu wamelemwa na masomo. If we start mentioning the degrees we have over here, we'll sound like we're bragging. Myself, I'm a PhD student as we talk right now. I'm at the University of Nairobi doing my PhD. I have 6 years plus experience in the financial sector, and I'm doing music. I mean, my parents discouraged music when I was young, but I did it kisiri-siri. I recorded my first music with my savings. I've been struggling through my music, and I'm here. And mine is just to encourage parents out there to let their kids join the entertainment and arts, because it's not for failures. That's so past tense. And I don't know, there's so much that they said that I can reiterate, but
But the issue of role models, that is
Issue
where
of
my
role
main
models.
concern is. Yeah. Are we overburdening artists with expecting them to act a certain way because we think you are our children's role models? Is that even their job to begin with? And then there's the issue of inspiration versus sales. When you get into the art industry, are you looking to inspire or are you looking to make something for yourself? Like you were saying that I'm better than you because I make more money than you. Yeah.
I mean, don't force your kid to get a role model from somewhere where they shouldn't be getting a role model. Again, when it comes to role model, I'll repeat what she said. There's a large shelf of role models. So why are you insisting
but
this guy
you're the ones they see a lot, yeah. And also Musiox mentioned it. Parents are busy; they're out there. So the people they can relate to mostly is the artists they see.
Yeah, they're seeing.
Let's put it.
They're seeing those
let's put
artists.
it-
Those are highlighting
Let's
those
put it this way.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, everybody is born with a moral compass. Somehow, you know this is good, this is bad. Nobody tells you. Yeah. Even your own child, when the child is growing up, whether it's 2 years old, 3 years old, they know. Somehow something they're doing. And sometimes I have a child, I have a small child, and I have kids actually. And I've always watched them as they grow. When they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, I don't actually say stop it. I want to see how far they're going to push whatever they're doing.
Push the boundaries, yes.
And you can see, sometimes you can just see they're waiting for you to tell them to stop. You know, so the moral compass in everybody is there. This is good, this is bad. You know, so it's not anybody's job or role model to guide people. Yes, there can be influence when people need guidance. Yeah, but the first thing is there's that moral, whatever. Now, in the issue of us artists, filmmakers, and musicians, and so forth, I'll give an example. I can't remember which year when AIDS was declared a national epidemic here. I think sometimes in the 2000s.
90s,
yeah. We were doing, there was a lot of money that was given. Government was doing a lot of these documentaries. We had a lot of doctors and professors talking heads, you know, telling young people, don't do this, wait for marriage, blah, 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 and all that, yeah? Did these kids listen? No, because you're talking to them a language they don't get. Then comes in MTV Sugar, which made series that showed these kids exactly what they were doing out there. You know, the partying, the one-night stands. You know, there was a character who was so good, proper upbringing, had one-night stand, contracted HIV. All of a sudden, these kids were like, whoa, you know?
Something is happening here.
And the data is, and that's why MTV Sugar is still being done till today, is that the change that came from that was so huge, you know, it shocked everybody because it dropped. The HIV infections went down, you know, because all of a sudden you're talking to people in a language they understand. And that's the role of what we do. It's me putting the mirror to your face and calling onto that inner compass, inner moral compass, and telling you, this is what you're doing. Do you think it's okay? It's up to you. If I don't connect with you like that, then there's nothing we're doing. You can keep telling us we're not, you know, we're not good influencers, we're not this and that, but at the end of the day, it's a personal conviction.
Yeah.
And if I cannot touch you that way, then I failed.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the bottom line. That's how we need to look at it.
Vivian, have you ever felt the pressure to be in a certain way because you're an artist, a performing artist, and people look up to you? And do you feel the pressure of doing certain things out of either your moral comfort or simply way beyond your moral comfort because you're trying to be a certain way because people look at you as a role model and you're thinking, I did not even ask for this role?
Well, if I was to be really honest about it, you know, when it comes to the morality issue, at the end of the day, you know, we're all human beings and we all have our ways in which we sin, right? And just because I sin differently from you, it doesn't mean that, you know, I'm more of a sinner, right? And you'll realize that a lot of artists sort of like, it's what you do, you know? Like when I get on stage, I'm not there to play, right? I'm there doing my thing. If I want to turn and shake and do whatever, right?
It's a performance.
It's a performance. You know, it has to have that effect. Otherwise, what's the point? Right? Sibasi, what wangeenda? You know, and it doesn't mean that I'm evil. I'm actually a firm believer in God, and I have a relationship with him, and I pray, and he guides me in a lot of things I do, right? So it's sort of like, it makes us look a little bit, I don't want to use abusive words, but it doesn't make us very intelligent. When we want the quotient to be, you know, she's on stage and she's doing this, and the way she's worn, she's like, those things don't make any sense. It's really about what you have inside you, right? Because you'll see me on stage, but when I get out, and when we're having coffee with Musioka, we're having a proper conversation. Two adults with a, hopefully, proper moral compass. Right? Two consenting adults, and just expressing ourselves properly. It's just like the way a doctor can be, you know, or an orthodontist cleaning your teeth or whatever, whatever. But then, akitoka hapa, siye ni mwananchi, ni job.
But isn't that what Musioks was saying? Wine, preaching water and drinking wine. Because now you see when you're performing, the person who's looking at you doesn't know that the background of Vivian is she has a
They
good
don't need
relationship
to know.
with God.
They just need to get entertained.
So for that particular moment, it's just an entertainment.
I'm there to entertain. And the reason why it becomes popular, it's popular culture, isn't it? So I need to have that entertaining aspect about it, and I need to do things that are different. But then if you're following closely, you know, and if you're following someone who you love what they do, you love their music or you love their films, then you'll dig a little bit deeper, and you'll get to know what are they about, what do they stand for. You know, even a platform like this can get to, you can get to see now who is she. Because that's a persona. And then now there's me. I'm even a mother.
Jokes, are we simply burying our heads in the sand here, acting like things are not happening?
Let me again quote the good book. To whom much is given,
much is expected.
Much is expected. So if you've been given a certain authority, much is expected of you. There are people looking up to you. There are people looking at guidance and direction from you. I mean, it's a universal order. There are some people who will be on top, others will be looking up to you. So for me, my take on it is, if I'm raising a child, I'll try and as much as I can steer them to role models who have ideals and philosophies that I believe in. And you can mold a child easily. You have the child for the first 10 years or so. You can really guide them. And for me, even from a personal experience, that's what happened in my family. Our mother was very, very protective of what we were watching and what we were seeing. And so you become careful. And as you grow older, there's always that nag at the back of your head that when I was young, this was not allowed. And as you grow older, you may start to understand why it was not allowed. So when it comes to role models, as parents, it's our duty and obligation to choose who we want our kids to listen and follow and admire.
Dave?
Yeah, actually, an example, something that happened this week, as you've mentioned about choosing. There's a lady who contacted me through a friend, and they came to see me. She noticed that the kid has talent, and she's in class 4 in one of the schools around Kilimani. And you know, when they left my office, I was asking, why did they come to see me? Yet we have so many artists in Kenya. And it hit me, probably, the mom probably was listening to my music a few years back and likes my character. I don't know. Probably likes my whole vibe and wants the kid to embrace something like that. So when the kid came, the kid started rapping a Justin Bieber song or something, and I looked at the kid and I looked at the room and I'm like, you know, I have authority to shape this kid's career right now. And of course I had to shape him to follow the line that I'm in, gospel music. I'm sorry, I had to do that. But there's a reason that the mom brought him to me. So I guess we have that choice. But also on this issue of rating, let me just reiterate something Musioka said a while back. The industry is doing good. We're doing good, and as Vivian said, we don't have a shortage of talent or a shortage of brains You can hear from the deep words Vivian is using that she's an intellectual. There's no shortage of talent. But then we're in an industry which is like a jungle, and investors don't come in and invest in a jungle. The financial sector, there's structures and systems. The coffee sector in Kenya, the tea sector, systems, structures. Music industry, let me talk about the music industry. Yeah. Today, there's these awards, tomorrow they're dead. Tomorrow there's really this live show that goes, and then kesho imeisha. This record label exists, tomorrow it's not there. This copyright body is there today, tomorrow it's not there. There are no structures. As an investor, as a businessman, I cannot invest in a jungle. Yeah. So again, but then there's progress, as Mosioka said. Let's look at the progress. Let's not compare ourselves with economies that are way beyond us. There's progress, and let's appreciate the little progress that we have as we continue shaping our culture. And everyone, all of us stakeholders have a role to play, whether it's us, whether it's the media, whether it's parents, whether it's the government, whether it's Wanjiko.
Yeah. All right, we have to take a quick break here on the Social Square. When we come back, I'd like to hear from the artists. What is that one thing they think we keep missing? What is the missing link here? But first, let's read some of your feedback coming through on SMS 22422, and Citizen TV Kenya is the Twitter line, and Trevor Mbija. And Wiz DJ says, no artist or creative gets to studio to produce bad music intentionally. An artist is their own #1 fan. If you do not like something, do not say it's bad. Let's flip the conversation to positive feedback, like, I would like it better if you added. Okay. All right, let's see another one here. And that's Irene Nasua. Says, morality is relative. Everyone has different barometers for it. There is a lot of great content that don't make it to the airwaves. There are times I want to watch or listen to silly or deep stuff depending on my mood. All right. Let's see, and we have another one here. Engineer Lazaro says, Kenya film and music industry lags behind compared to our better equipped neighbors. That's the reason for our studios are being dominated by our neighbors and films from Nigeria. Society still doesn't believe music film industry can be full-time occupation. Equipment issues. All right, let's see. Talk about the whole issue around the equipment. And there's an SMS here. The art industry, especially music, has been attacked by the demon of immorality, where we even have half-naked, if not naked, artists on stage. This one we have to talk about. Before we take that break, let's talk about the issue of demon of immorality, where we see half-naked people. Only devil start with you.
No, can someone else start? We're going to talk about demons first.
I thought you didn't want to go last. Vivian, all right, you take it. What is your reaction to that?
You know, the thing is this, and I think this is something we really need to put a keen eye on, and it's something I even talked about earlier. You know, you cannot judge someone based on what they wear, or what, you know, you can have someone, even the pastor wearing a robe, but their actions are completely against even the most basic moral compass, right? So such things, we need to, you know, just get it right a little bit, because what you wear does not define who you are.
Yeah.
Sasa si tulisema my dress, my choice.
But from the Christian perspective, Holiday,
yeah,
there's some people who say that it's immoral to show too much skin. That's #1. And also we've seen artists go the extra mile.
Okay. I mean, skin has always been there. Immorality has always been there since time immemorial.
Yeah.
We all know that is one of the oldest professions is actually prostitution, according to the Holy Book.
Yeah.
These things will always be there. They've always been there. They'll always be there. The question is, we have a choice. So the question is, first of all, why are you consuming that content? I mean, we have a choice. You watch the TV with the remote control, and you have the option to watch this or this. You have the option to consume product A or product B. So again, it's a choice. These things will always be there. Sin will always be there. Immorality will always be there. Any temptation will temptations
So
will
it's all a
always be
matter
there.
of choice.
So first of all, you will ametuma hiyo text, ningeomba tu yani tujishikilie tujishikilie watch kile unafaa kuona watch in the first place, listen to what you should be listening to. Let's go to where we should be going to. Avoid temptation, brother.
Miss York's one line. I have to go for a break.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And God has given us freedom and a will to choose. Okay. If naked people are not your cup of tea, EWTN, TBN exist.
Okay.
You can go sit there and enjoy Joel Osteen, Donald McLaughlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make your own choice. Tosh.
I once read an article by a retired DEA agent who had been an agent for years, since the 70s or something. And he had this interesting look on the war on drugs. He said this war will never be won. Maybe it's high time we considered actually legalizing cocaine. Yeah.
Okay.
So you sell it in the chemist and you control it. Probably you'll get a better, you'll deal with it better than we're currently dealing with it. Very,
so the iron fist
very
approach
out of there, but I thought about it, you know. And if you think about it, now when we talk about immorality, a child will always go through puberty. When they're growing up, they will have sexual urges. That is a fact of life.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, that's the truth, and that's why sex sells, because people feel these urges. So that is a fact we can't remove.
Yeah.
So instead of keeping on still trying to put wool over our faces, why don't we face the fact?
Tackle it head on.
Yes, head on, and say, okay, you know, this is what it is. Let's deal with that way.
Okay.
When you have a problem, when you understand the problem, you deal with it better, right?
Yeah.
Instead of saying, no, it's not a problem.
Okay.
Stop.
All right. I have to take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll take the final thoughts in just a bit and also read a bit of your feedback as well. We'd like to know what you think of the art industry. Stay with Dave.